Right, this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. I actually shot this video roughly 3 years ago. It's called Water Seeks Level. As you can see here today, the full moon is happening, and we've got more than 14 hours of day or moonlight and less than 10 hours of sunlight. This is the Tides Near Me app that I use, and I wanted to go ahead and show you the weather as well. That's Dean. Hi Dean. So it's actually pretty chilly out right now. A breeze out of the north at 4, and it's lower humidity. The sun gives off its own light, obviously, and so does the moon. It's a cooler light. The temperature differentials drive the water cycle of the world. I'm going to take us out there and show us the full moon in just a little bit. Where the sun and the moon appear and vanish on the horizon in relationship to one another, and their duration of visibility changes radically throughout the seasons and the phases of the moon. One other bit of data I wanted to show you is the date as well, so you can see that. It's Thursday, December 12th. Now that didn't show you the month, but I want to show it up here so that you can see that. So the water seeks level and covers the face of the earth. Right over here where you're looking at is the point in Cherry Grove, South Carolina, also known as North Myrtle Beach in the United States here. And it's an area where the open ocean meets with the coastal preserve, providing a very beautiful and calm area quite a bit of the time, because the water fills up and recedes from the coastal preserve, the Russell R. Burgess Coastal Preserve. I've done a lot of videography and photography there and out at the point here in Cherry Grove. If you want to look at where the sun and the moon appear and vanish at a particular location, the Tides Near Me app has been very effective and accurate here. And I understand there are people that have questions with, well, you flat earthers are crazy, your model doesn't work. Well, we all have a different perspective on life in general, and specifically our own little life experience. So there's people that will pick on one thing or another. The earth doesn't move. That's the biblical proclamation. And the movement of the earth has never been proven because it doesn't move. That's the biblical proclamation, and that's the reality of it. So right here we can see just the beauty of this. I'm going to fast forward it to another video, actually, if I can. This playlist here is part of my creation. Actually, I've called it Sea Level Liquid Mirrors. And I'll have quite a few different titles here. Eternal Perspective is the audio Bible, and Sea Level Liquid Mirrors is the one that's up there now. I wanted to show you this one in particular. I'll cue that up right now.
Shopping Toyota Tacoma. Better look.
This once again is about 3 years ago when I captured this. And there's a storm over the ocean there that you can see. One of the categories of videos would be time-lapse, and I've got many views of time-lapse videography from all over the world, from Norway, Iceland, Antarctica, Hawaii, and it's gorgeous. Now these videos here, I'm actually the one who captured them, and one of the things that amazed me was the reflection of the water off of the wet sand, and how beautifully it not only reflects, but how gently the waves come in, and what that looks like, indicating the non-movement of the earth. That's what I'm talking about here with that. See how that becomes so clear? This is at the same location of the previous video. So one of the things that the time-lapse videography shows is the temperature differentials right in front of our eyes, seeing clouds forming because of the thermal mass of mountains and the temperature differentials in air movement that collides there. Clouds being formed. Now here at the ocean, we're looking at sea level. And I've got right now over 1,600 videos that I've captured around here, mostly out around the ocean. And I've had quite a bit of different information that I've covered, from artificial intelligence to the nature of creation. I have this turned like that so you can see the large view of the reflection of the clouds on the sand here. This being 3 years ago, this is before Hurricane Matthew, which really changed a lot of the beach around this area. And then we had Hurricane Florence, I believe it was, that came in as well last year. So the storm systems changed the contour of the beach, and they are also modified. It's Weather Wars technology. It's geoengineering, also known, chemtrails, contrails, weather modification. Contrails are more natural temperature differential, and then there's other technology that's way different than that. It's intentional dispersal of conductive metals and particulate, nano-sized particles, aluminum, barium, strontium. And then that's activated with frequencies and that sound waves. and electricity. HARP, High Active Auroral Research Program in Gakona, Alaska, is one of those projects operated. It has been operated by the Navy, but there's also other technology that's talked about, as in frequency to brain interface, so that people's moods can be changed with sound waves and frequencies. Think of happy music, sad music, angry music, if you want to put that into perspective. It actually happens. But it's more than music. It has to do with frequencies we can't exactly hear. I'm a targeted individual. I've had a ringing in my ears ever since cell towers went up near where we lived in Wisconsin. Now look at the perfect mirror that is, or the beautiful mirror that it is, a sea level liquid mirror. You can hashtag titles on my channel and find a variety of topics, from artificial intelligence to the big pharma, medical industrial complex, the military industrial complex that we were warned about by Kennedy and Eisenhower. The intelligence gathering and monitoring, tracking, tracing, and databasing of humanity has been going on for a long time. Now, just look at how calm that water is coming in. Sheets of water. That's just part of what it does. So I will have a brief explanation on some of the topics on my channel, actually a lot of them, and then I'll have videos that back that up. The Federal Reserve, the creating money out of basically thin air, but it's actually using the military might of the world. It's the beast system. It's all of that. So it's not just the printing of money, the system creates purchasing power of all different denominations and names from around the world, compared to the world reserve currency of the US dollar. And weapons of mass destruction are created all over the world, weather being one of them, creating droughts and floods and all of that. So imagine if you had a printing press and you could create all the money that you wanted, the influence that you could buy with that. That's what the beast system does. So the corporate controlled media that operates all over the world gives the perspectives, the chosen perspectives of the corporations that control it, that serve their own interests. We have technology to create houses that are insulated concrete, steel reinforced, that take less than half the energy to climate control and can withstand earthquakes, wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes. The majority of households aren't built out of that. It's on my channel. I cover that. It's on my liked video playlist. Insulated concrete construction. 3D panel is the one that I believe is, it's a shotcrete construction, blown concrete onto the form that is actually the wire reinforced insulation covered, or the insulation core that's there. I've got videos of it showing the technology. And then there's others where you stack up foam blocks that have reinforcing inside and then fill it with concrete. It's extremely energy efficient and protective. With closed circuit TV, you could have, and surveillance cameras, you could have a safe house that has cameras that let you see what's going on outside if you want to build a kind of like your own safe house. Virtually impenetrable. I mean, there's technology, weaponry that can destroy that, obviously, but the general public typically doesn't have that kind of technology available to them. I'm not a doom and gloom kind of a guy. I just want to let people know the importance of making accurate decisions based on reality, which I believe is the truth. Truth and reality are interchangeable. So in this particular video, out at the point, this is probably an hour after sunrise, less than an hour, and the tide is going out. I can tell you that by looking at it. The tidal activity happens all around the earth, and you can confirm it with the device that I showed earlier and the app that I use. Tides Near Me is effective. There are other tidal apps that you can check out. I've been able to confirm the accuracy here, but as I'm sure you're aware, I can't confirm it where I'm not. So, like in Australia, there's active tidal activity, and here we've got between a 4 to 6 foot tidal activity in South Carolina. And then in up north, quite a bit up north, the Bay of Fundy has over a 30-foot tidal activity. That's dramatic. So in the Bible, there's the discussion of the fountains of the deep that opened up to flood the face of the earth for the great flood that Noah prepared for. And then the floodgates of heaven also opened up, windows of heaven. You can read about it in the book of Genesis, if you care to. And then God also caused it to start raining. The God that I'm talking about is the author of Scripture. You may know him as Yahweh, Yeshua, the living Word, the living water, the great I Am, the Alpha and Omega. You may know him as the Great Spirit, the Creator. The Bible says you need to be born again to even see the kingdom of heaven. So that's why I'm so passionate about sharing what I believe the truth is to anybody who will listen. All right. So this is the same day, another video, and I just continued on. This was recorded with an iPhone 5. This was what I found so striking, is how that water came in so gently. The sun is much like a laser beam across the water, showing differences in elevation with the contour of the sand. Right in this particular area, as you can see how gently the water is coming in, it is not just flat, it's also level. So that is the water level. It's a liquid level. So the physics and properties of water conclusively prove the impossibility of life on a globe. There are other simple examples, but the water seeks level and covers the face of the earth. It evaporates, condenses, and then precipitates. So, for example, do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? Well, that depends on the temperature. That temperature variant drives the water cycle of the world. If you change the temperature enough, you can change the state. So it can go from a liquid to a steam, and then condensing and form rain or snow if it's cold enough. You heat it up enough and you can get steam to operate electrical generating turbines with nuclear, coal, solar. If you cool it enough, it'll turn into ice and you can drive vehicles on frozen lakes. You can look at like ice road truckers. I've actually driven the Truthmobile on Lake Winnebago in Wisconsin. As you can see, the different waves that come across the water, the different directions, it basically will level the sand out. So there, just to be perfectly clear, there would be no level anywhere on a spinning, wobbling water ball hurling through space. So just simply tossing a tennis ball will cause the water to fly off of it. That's just the nature of the reality we live in. When you turn on a washing machine and it hits the spin cycle, the water flies off of it. If you use all of our interaction with water shows that water seeks level. It'll come out of a garden hose and fall down, out of a shower, flushing a toilet, washing our hands, all of our interaction with water. So many of us will hear the Salvation Army bells ringing. This time of the year, many celebrate Christmas. And so I'm just going to show you this and let you hear it. So that will become still and stop ringing. And if you tip it upside down, the clangor just falls inside of it. We don't have upside down in relationship to one another. You can't get a wind chime or a crystal bell to hang upside down in relationship to one another. There's up and down, not upside down. So getting unplugged from the mainstream media, getting a lot of fresh air, walking outside, taking a look at the reality of the world we actually live in, I believe that's a big deal. That's pretty important. That's been an emphasis on my channel, including a digital audio Bible merged with the beauty of creation. That's another one. Hundreds of hours of a playlist that shows that. If you hashtag my name, that would be a good way to find my content. Because with the different censorship that's going on, it may be challenging to find me if my channel gets taken down, my YouTube channel. But I'm on Library. I've got a BitChute account and Vimeo. I'm learning how to work with all the different platforms. YouTube is the largest. That's why I'm using it. I'm going to take us outside now and show you the moon. The full moon. So the moon is anywhere from 7 to 12 degrees cooler, the moonlight, versus the shade from the moon. The direct light has the cooling effect. The zoom on this is 125 times magnification. Right now, that's maximum zoom. With the time lapse, you can see like the change of the way that the moon appears as it moves through the temperature variance and the moisture. That may be an explanation for what some call the lunar wave. Right now the humidity is in the 70%. So as you can see, the moon is giving off her own light. Okay, this is where we live, obviously. And the moon is setting way over there, but it's going to be coming up at right behind the house over there. And it is very calm and quiet right now. Virtually no air movement. So thank you so much for coming to my channel, taking a look around. There is mystery with history, mystery with creation. I believe God's grace is required to love and believe the truth, let alone find it.